Hi, I'm Mary Ellen, and welcome to Video Wednesday, when the Southport Historical Society showcases one of our vintage historical markers. These markers were replaced many years ago and were put in storage. We've cleaned them up and will be auctioning them online beginning 31 May through June 24th. Join us on our Facebook page every Wednesday until then and enjoy our videos of these vintage historical markers. Our video today is about the vintage historical marker of the CB Caroon Crab Company. In January 1965, the company opened its doors in the old fisheries building on Kingsley Street. It was complete with a pier to the Cape Fear River. It was here that Atlantic blue crabs were purchased mainly from local fishermen and were preserved, steamed, and cooked. The plant with its workers processed 7,000 to 9,000 pounds of crab per day. In 1986, the company moved from the Southport banks to a much larger facility on River Road. Much of the machine operations remained at Kingsley until 1995. During this time, thousands of fine restaurants throughout Southeast United States used the products of CB Caroon Crab Company. Today we are excited to have one of the two Caroon sons that worked, managed, and operated the company after their father. It is my pleasure to introduce you to one of the Caroon boys, Lionel Caroon. Let's listen as Lionel shares his family history memories.
1964, at the end of 64, we came to Southport to open a crab business, and we had done it in Lowland. He was in business with his brother there, and through the years they acquired about 10 children, and they just knew there wasn't going to be enough business for the whole families, you know. So they had gone to South Carolina for something. On the way back, I saw this little sign that said Southport. And I said, let's go down there and see what that looks like. And they did, and they liked it and decided to come here and start a business. And so in 65, we had the women bust in at the time. Later they drove. Now I was 10 years old when we moved here, and at 12 years old, it's kind of like a farm. Everybody works. So after schools, during the summers, we would come in and wash cans, shovel, sweep floors, pack meat, do anything a 12-year-old could do. And without any pay, that's all we thought anyhow. But Dad said we were getting paid because he fed us and kept us warm and all that stuff. Well, we didn't agree with him, but we didn't have much clout back then. But as we got older, he took us in and taught us a whole lot. I guess my favorite experience was with a man called Captain O'Neill. My brother Keith and I, we would get up about 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd take turns, and we'd meet him down on the docks. And I'd sit on the old crab dock, and I'd watch the yacht basin and wait for to see his running lights come out. And I know he's on his way, and I'll start dragging the ice down to the end of the dock and the bait and boxes and whatever we needed for the day. And then we go do our illegal swimming before the sun come up, and then we go fish the crab pots, and we'd be back to the dock by 10 o'clock. And Danny made me work the rest of the day, so we stayed tired, but we were youngins, so we still knew how to run up and down the beach banks. And I had a fabulous childhood. Fishing was great. One time I counted 37 boats around the crab dock there, and you couldn't bring enough bait to stay all day because the fish ate it so quickly. We had all kinds of fish around there. We got most of our crabs out of Chesapeake and Core Sound. They'd truck them in. And like I said, some mornings we'd be up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and other times we're cooking crabs till 1 o'clock. You know, we did some hell raising, but we worked hard too. And we had a daddy that had a lot of patience. He was a man of the Lord. He taught us well about God, and we love God, and Jesus is the whole family Savior. And he walked on the back of that dock that time we first moved here, and he said, God, I'm 32 years old. I've come here with 5 boys, my youngest in diapers. He says, God, if you'll help me be a success, I will be a devout man. And he was. He sang in the choirs, he taught. People loved to hear him. He had a Sunday school class that got so big they had to put him in the main place where the preacher normally is, because people just loved to hear him talk. But eventually, we noticed all the crab backs going overboard and knew it was a waste. So he said, I got to do something with them crab backs. So he made a little kitchen and started making the devil crab. And then went from devil crabs to crab cakes, and we did crab casseroles and stuffed shrimp, stuffed flounders. We did it all until we found out what would sell best. And we put up fish for a long time. We filleted and filleted and filleted. We did anything for money. But, and that's another thing. He taught me the value of $1. He says it ain't no good unless you got it. So I had a great daddy. And he once said, my boys won't follow my footsteps like I want them to, but the footprint's still there if they want to, when they get ready to. And as we got older, we realized some of the things he said weren't so crazy. He taught us well. There's a lot of things we learn in business that takes people years to learn in school, but coming up in it, it was fun, it was hard, it was nasty, it was stinky. My fishing name or my cat name, my own buddy, they call me Captain Smelly, because I either had crab juice or fish scales on me most of the time. So we worked and worked, and then in 2009, Daddy died, and we had tried to expand, and we'd got into retail in about 8 states, and pulled it back in, and we started getting in a scrape because of the imports was taken over, and Daddy died in 2009. Kind of left it with just me and Keith. My other brothers my 2 younger brothers had died, and my oldest brother had moved to Wan Chi, so it was just Keith and I running the business. Now he ran the kitchen and I run the crab picking. And finally I called Mama up one day. I said, Mama, I'm 62 years old and I'm still washing crab cake pans. When can we retire? Mama, things is getting to where we need to retire, or we just can't do it anymore. We're getting too old, and we're still doing the stuff we did when we were 12 years old. So Mama says, well, don't tell Keith. I'll call him and tell him I'm going to let you boys retire. But I did anyhow. I said, Keith's mom was going to call you. He says, well, wasn't she mad? I said, well, I'd been drinking a little bit when I told her I wanted to retire. But if we hadn't, and then God works in mysterious ways. We did that in 2017, and then just 2 years later, COVID hit and would have destroyed us. We'd lost everything in our freezers. We'd have been absolutely devastated. We got out just in time. We started in time. We got out in time. We had a good life. We had a hard life, but I can't think of a thing that I regret. Yeah, there's a lot of stories to be told. I wrote some. I got some down. Funny things we did. But as far as the fishing goes, that's most people knew us all the way up to Lumbee, down to South Carolina. They'd all come down to go fishing around their dock because of the crab scrap and all. But Luke Sampson told Daddy, he was a Christian man too. He says, "Cash, you're the only one that can take a hard crab and do something gracefully with it." But we were in business for 52 years, and I might be wrong, but I believe that we were the longest continuous seafood company that was ever in Southport. But for 52 years, we walked around stinking. That's it.